Hey guys, today's video is about stuff that may be triggering. Trigger warning. Bodies. How do you do a trigger warning without triggering someone? We're going to talk about trans stuff and say things that you might not want to talk about. This video is about sex. We're going to use some words that people may not find suitable to talk about trans things. But I love you guys, and hopefully this video will just go over smoothly. This is just my perception and Jess's perception of something that we don't even necessarily participate in, so we're just kind of talking about it because somebody brought it up and said, "Hey Emery, what do you think?" So welcome to a video. Said I wasn't going to do videos on Sunday, but I wanted to talk a little bit about yesterday's topic because I didn't really say much, and a couple people asked what I thought about it. Yesterday just sort of, went more towards the topic of where's the line between I like somebody because they're trans, or I like this trans person because they like men and I like this person, which in my opinion, none of that stuff is necessarily any of my business because, relationships, no matter what type they are between two people, and if both parties are consenting people, then it doesn't hurt anybody. It is trans fetishizing that I'm talking about. I feel like saying we're talking about it. It's so much easier when I was on Transtastic and I can just say, I was given this topic and we're all talking about it. But I was given this topic by someone. So I guess that makes it okay to talk about, right? The whole thing that is like a common thing with me and my channel is that what other people think of me is none of my business, and what I think of other people is not necessarily relevant. For example, the example that everyone talks about when we're talking about trans fetishizing is Buck Angel. He uses terms that are triggering for a lot of people, and people worry that, or they feel very passionately, a lot of people, that Buck Angel gives the community a bad name. I haven't met a single person that when I tell them I'm trans, they go, "Oh yeah, I know what that is. I know Buck Angel." I've never experienced that. I don't know anybody else who's experienced that. And I hate to compare it to anything, but for comparison's sake, to weigh it, there's fetishizing in every group, every group, and that's all I'm gonna say. It doesn't make me think of the next person I see from a specific group. If I saw a GIF on Tumblr or a porn, I don't go, "Oh, that person must like this because I saw this other person who looks like them, sort of, or has the same traits as them." That doesn't make any sense. But again, I know that a lot of people aren't as open, I guess. A lot of people are more prejudiced. And I think that that's where the fear comes from, is that the majority of America, at least, seems to be kind of stupid. So it's easier to make an assumption when you're being ignorant to something. When it comes to relationships, I don't think that there's a problem with somebody liking someone because they're trans. But if you initially like somebody because they're trans, all of the other factors that go into that person's being are going to factor into your relationship. So it's not going to be something that defines the relationship. But if the person who you're interested in is okay that you being interested in them because they're trans, then again, it doesn't hurt anybody. Jess, do you want to elaborate on what you said yesterday at all?
I mean, I think what I was saying, Hi. I think it's just sort of difficult to explain what I was trying to get at. Bleh. It's something that's really difficult for me to talk about because, one, I have like certain emotions about it already, but also I think it's so easy to offend people with this topic that I don't really want to do that, you know? I think, like what I was saying yesterday, it's sort of a fucked up concept that like grouping someone together just for the fact that they're trans, or just like the only reason you're attracted to someone is because they're transgender. I think that's like weird. And then the only reason you're attracted to someone is because they're trans?
But it's something that they find attractive.
Yeah, like, okay, be attracted to trans individuals, but like also be attracted to their personality and, you know?
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying, is that if you initially like someone because they're trans, like, you're not just gonna get like a trans blow-up doll to hang out with.
I mean, just the fact that insinuating that like all trans folks are like a unit is just weird to me.
I guess I don't see it as them insinuating that all trans folks are a unit. That's like saying all skinny people are a unit.
Yeah.
But then I'm sure that there will be like this can you stop for a second? I'm sure that there will be responses, like, this video can't be long enough for me to say, like, to, like, hit every single angle that you could come from with this, because, like, being skinny and being trans are two completely separate things. Like, being trans is gender expression, or it's not, it's a condition, or it's not. It has absolutely nothing to do with how you look or who you are or what you like or anything like that. But for the person who is attracted to it, it's a turn on, or it's somebody who sees struggle in it and they find that attractive. Like, this person is trans, and I can see that they've battled social norms and, like, you know, they've learned enough about themselves to get to that point. I think that's really attractive. Or they know what it's like to be in the female society. What am I thinking? Without male privilege and all that. And they think that that is admirable.
I think picking someone to date or picking someone to go out with because they're trans is really fucked up. That's what I think.
Why do you think it's fucked up?
Because I think it's like, it's just not something that's like, should be a defining character trait about someone, you know? You shouldn't just be...
No, but nobody's saying that it defines them. They're saying that they're attracted to it.
Yeah, but I don't think it's something that is to be attracted to. I don't think that it's, like, I don't understand it, you know? I think, like, people being like, oh, I'm a lesbian, but I like trans guys, or I'm into girls.
Well, that sentence doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah, but I feel like that's what it's... Like, that's... I group it in with that. I group it in with people being like, being a trans man is different than being a man, and I'm only attracted to trans men because they are trans men. Or...
Well, yeah, saying I'm only attracted to trans men doesn't really make sense to me either.
But that's how I read trans fetishizing, is that it groups it into a completely different group, you know?
You're saying people that have trans fetishes are people that are only attracted to trans men?
No, that's how okay. The way I understand trans fetishization is that you're grouped into a completely different, like, gender, sexual identity type thing, and that, like, a lesbian will turn around and be like, I am attracted to women and trans men, or a straight male will turn around and say, I'm attracted to women and trans men. Like, that's how I see, or that's how I understand the term of trans fetishizing, and I think that's fucked up. And I don't agree with that, and I don't see trans men as a different...
But see, how can you disagree with something that someone feels? Like, what's your argument to someone who says, I like women and trans men? What would you say to that person?
I would say to them that there is absolutely no difference between a trans man and a real man.
But how can you define every trans man?
I can't. But, you know, I think of you, and I think of my friends who are trans men.
Are all your friends that are trans men transsexual trans men?
No.
No.
No, I know that, but... No, but I don't see how that has anything to do with it.
Well, because they're not just like cis men. They're genderqueer, they're somewhere in the trans asterisk umbrella.
Then put it into really colloquial, crude terminology. I feel that the trans fetishization thing, to me, is people identifying trans men as people who look like men but have pussies. That's what I understand trans fetishization as, and I don't agree with that.
Because of Buck Angel.
That's what I understand trans fetishization as. Yeah, because I mean, in arguments of trans fetishization, it's very much like revolving around the porn community and like #1 porn FTM person, Buck Angel.
What about gay guys that have trans fetishes? Trans men fetishes.
Again, I think it's the...
You think it's their genitals?
Well, I think for it to be saying that you have a trans fetish, a fetish is a sexual thing, so you're sexually attracted to men who have slightly different genitalia, therefore I feel like the only thing that is different and that you are attracted to is the genitalia. And like it being like a turn on, I feel like it's identifying your genitalia as not male.
But it's not identifying it as female, it's identifying it as trans.
I don't know. I don't know if... The reason why I struggle to say, yeah, I agree with that, is because of lesbians who are attracted to trans men.
But that doesn't make sense.
Lesbians who are attracted to trans men?
Yeah, that's not a thing.
But it is a thing. Like, I know some...
Well, you can identify as a lesbian and say that you're attracted to trans men, but you're not a lesbian if you're attracted to trans men.
Yeah, but like I know women, or I've had conversation with women who are like, I'm a lesbian, but I like trans men because they have vaginas and I hate penises.
Who said that?
Just people I know.
I feel like you would have to have someone here with us that has a trans fetish in order to understand where they're coming from with it.
But see, then again, like that's the whole argument. That's why it's so difficult to talk about, because I don't really completely comprehend where the like line is of okay attraction and okay, like, not obsession, but you know, whatever, to trans men, and where it flips over to my whole thinking it's just fucked up. Like, because we know people who like exclusively date trans men, you know?
Well, yeah, but like, so you're judging them?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not. Like, person in question or persons in question, I don't have a problem with it. I understand it. Like, I don't feel that way, but I can accept it. I don't feel that way. Like, I don't think, oh, I love Emery so much, I'm only gonna date trans men from now on. It's like, but that's my sexuality. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't group you in a different group from cis men.
But I group myself in a different group than cis men.
and I respect that, but what I mean is sexual attraction wise, I don't group you in a different group than cis men. Like, I do like completely acknowledge and love and admire like your gender identity and your gender expression and the fact you're gender queer and all of those things I absolutely love about you, but my sexual attraction to you is absolutely no different than my sexual attraction to a cis man.
Or a woman.
Or a woman. No, but it is different than a woman, because I would rather be with you than with a woman, because you're a man and I am more attracted to men.
Do you have any fetishes?
Yes, but they're not revolved around like anything like that.
I just think that there are a lot of different perspectives within the trans community about this because of that fear that everyone's being grouped together. But I don't think that everyone's being grouped together. I don't think, like I was saying earlier, I don't think that if, like, people are going to look at you differently no matter what. Like, I'm thinking of the most, I know a trans man in the community who is very, I know a lot of people who are like, I do not fall into the trans umbrella. I am transsexual. I have a birth defect, and like that's a lot of us, and like that's a completely different topic, which I agree with. But like, just because someone is attracted to solely trans people, that doesn't make you any less of a man.
Again, I think there is something to that, but I also think, what is it that makes trans men different from men? And why is it that you're only attracted to trans men and not men?
What is it that makes Mexican people different than white people?
Their skin colour.
Okay, so what is it that makes trans men different than cis men?
Is that they have different genitalia.
Right.
And I don't think, like, me personally, obviously, like, we have a completely different viewpoint on this, and people who are going to watch this, if you're putting this up, are going to have completely different viewpoint than me and from you. But to me, saying that you're attracted to a man who doesn't have, like, the exact same genitalia as every other man is fucked up. I don't like it. It's really sounds degrading to me, belittling to me. I would hate for any of, like, my friends' partners to think of them that way, because I don't know. That's just the way I feel. Now, with that said, if someone wants to identify as being a man with female genitalia, or being a man with a clit, or a man with a trans
no, that's not going in there. That's not going in there.
Okay, sorry. So if you want to be, like, identify as a man with etc, etc, etc type genitalia or whatever, like, that's totally okay, and you can do that. But I think, for me, the way I read trans fetishization, and this just could be my point of view on what the term actually means, again, words and their meanings, you know, to me, it's people being attracted to men with the... And I don't like that. I don't think of you that way. I don't think of any of, like, my guy friends who are trans that way.
Yeah, I just see it. I don't think that trans fetishization is people being attracted to those people because of their body.
But it's a sexual attraction. Like,
I know, but, like, you're gonna have sex with someone just because they look a certain way? But what if they're, like...
Well, I said this yesterday, that, like, you know, it's not just to do with the fact that somebody is trans, and you're like, yeah, but it's a sexual attraction. What I mean is, like, the fetishization...
Yeah, but I don't think a sexual attraction is purely physical.
in the case of fetishizing, it is. Because...
Well, I don't get turned on by someone who's really hot but really stupid.
Yeah, I know, but like, that's how I understand what it means. You know, like, I think being attracted to trans men and then getting to meet a trans guy and being like, oh wow, he's really intelligent, he's really funny, I really like him, I want to sleep with him, I want to be his girlfriend or boyfriend. That is totally fine, and if that's a repeating pattern, that is totally fine. But pure sexual attraction based on physical looks or whatever, and saying I am solely physically attracted, or I am very much physically attracted to trans men, is saying I am attracted to trans men above cis men because of their only visual differences, which is like post-op or pre-op. Obviously there's differences.
So it's not legitimate.
No, not that it's not legitimate, but I think it's fucked up. It's fucked up to, for me, the way I understand the concept, it's like, I just don't agree with it. I think it's a really horrible thing to say.
But like it's not their choice though. It's like just a thing that they like. Like, it's not my choice that I like you.
Yeah, but then pedophiles, it's not their choice that they like little kids.
What?
I mean, obviously, like, a fetish is something that, like, a fetish is something that you don't necessarily have control of, but it doesn't make it necessarily okay. And
but what if the person that you're doing it with is okay with it?
With the fact that then do whatever the fuck you want to do. Like, if, that's what I said, if you identify as a male with female genitalia... Do
you think Buck Angel should stop doing what he's doing because of the impact it has on society?
No, I don't. I mean, I hope that people are intelligent enough to understand that the porn industry is very much skewed and, like, you know, that not everybody is like him.
But the people that are having sex with Buck Angel because he's trans should stop.
I think people having sex with trans men, Buck Angel, whoever, thinking this is a woman who looks like a man should really stop.
Yeah, but that's how he portrays himself.
Yeah, I think that's fucked up. I do think that's fucked up, and I don't agree with it. But
because of the impact it has on society.
Yeah, I guess so. But, like, I'm not going to go around policing him and say he should stop, because there's obviously a market for it, and there's people who don't think it's fucked up. My personal opinion is, like, that's how I understand trans fetishization, and I don't like it, and I don't agree with it. So that's me elaborating on my point.
What do you think is going to happen with this video?
Oh god, I don't know. I just hope
we only got 2 dislikes yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's like under 400 views.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you put this up, I'm sure it'll get dislikes, I'm sure I will get hate.
I don't think you're gonna get hate. I think it's just a conversation.
Yeah, like...
They're so blurry. Hold on.
Like, I understand if people disagree, and I understand if they want to argue with me over it. Like...
But you're not gonna change what do you think?
I'm open to learning. And I'm open to, like...
I'm not trying to change what you think.
Yeah. I'm open to hearing what people have to say, and I look forward to hearing what people have to say, and, like, maybe my whole idea on what trans fetishes are is, like, wrong, but this is how I feel in this moment, and I'm prepared to meet the wrath of the people.
So your view is just, it's fucked up.
Okay, I'm gonna try to put it into, like, a 2-sentence statement. I believe that trans fetishization implies that all trans men, regardless of their own personal gender, like, expression or gender identity, are men with female/trans genitalia, and that is the sole purpose of trans fetishist person's attraction to this person, and I think that's fucked up.
Okay. I think my view is just that I don't have a problem with it if it's 2 consenting adults. Because, like, I have a problem with, like, intentional unfairness, but I don't think it's unfair or fucked up or wrong to get off based on any fetish, unless it's illegal or immoral. Like, I don't support it. That's what I was saying in the video before, is I wouldn't pay to see Buck Angel. I wouldn't buy it. But I'm not going to take away his right to
do whatever he does.
Use whatever language he wants to use.
I mean, I think that's where my problem is that I feel I don't see how someone would with a trans fetish. It's not, I have a fetish of trans individuals who are genderqueer to the point that they identify their genitalia.
No, I'm just talking about, I like a lot of trans men. A lot of trans men are hot, and I would like to have sex with one.
You would?
Honey, I'm talking about that fetish. Sure, yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would like to have sex with a trans man, but not a cis man. Now what? What do you think of that?
I think that's fucked up.
Why?
Because of all the reasons I have said before. Why do you want to have sex with a trans man and not a cis man?
I don't know, I just do.
You don't though, do you?
I want to do it with Finn.
Oh, you don't.
Why not?
Because you don't actually want to do it, you just think you do. Like,
alright, well, we gotta close this up.
But just as a separate question, how would you feel if, like, Finn started dating someone and that person came to you and was like, oh, I don't like men, I only like, or I'm not attracted to men, but I want to have sex with Finn?
Well, I would tell Finn.
And Finn was not okay with it.
Then he wouldn't date that person.
Okay, how would you feel if I turned around and I said, like, I do understand where you're coming from, like...
I made sure that you didn't have a trans fetish before I started dating you.
Yeah, I know.
Alright, well, we can keep this conversation going this week, or we can drop it, or whatever, but talk amongst yourselves.
Bye.